Them boy.
All right, here we go.
All right.
All right. So we got cut off, but we back right now. So when we were talking about Aquemini, Skilled on the Barbie was the first song, and then we came out with Rosa Parks. Rosa Parks was a transitional piece that took them from stars to superstars.
Oh yeah, definitely. They got sued for it, but yeah.
I think they ended up winning that because they didn't say nothing that was out of the way. They just didn't like the fact that they used her name. But hush that fuss. Everybody moved to the back of the bus. I mean, the chorus, man. Come on, man.
Let me ask you this question. I mean, they had some hitters on that. You had Liberation, you had a Synthesizer, with George Clinton.
Yeah,
you had Aquemini was the namesake of the album.
Yeah.
Where Andre pretty much from that point, Big Boy was out doing them, but right then he took the torch. And I think the best song on that album was a production. I mean, it was genius production, and the boys really didn't rap. You got to give it the Spodio the Dopalicious, man.
Spodio the Dopalicious is a Southern classic because it told a story of how we as young men lived our lives up until that point. Anybody that grew up in the South understood exactly what they was talking about. My favorite line out of Spodio is from Big Boy, moved up on a girl with a neck smelling sweeter than a plate of yams with extra syrup. And I was like, you know what, bro, I done been there. You know what I'm saying? I know how that is. When you run up on one of them, bro, it's hard not to mess around and I didn't slip up. And me and your daughter, next 18 years. I mean, that's one of them things where he telling a true story about that. You know what I'm saying? And then even with Drake, who else want to mess with Hollywood Cole? That used to happen every week for us. Whether we was at the club or whether we was at the school dances or whatever, that was always going to break down to something like that, and we saw that. So for Southern young men, you understood, that opened the curtain for us because we knew exactly what they were talking about.
Oh yeah! Now on that album too, they had what was it, Mamacita?
Mamacita. I say lyrically, the art of storytelling is it is a story unto itself. Both of them did an outstanding job on that. And then when you throw Slick Rick in on the remix version, that just further solidified them as being top upper echelon hip hop artists.
But that song was that song though, the art of storytelling was a hip hop masterclass because the subject matter, I mean, it was actually telling a true story. That's what hip hop is all about.
Right.
Not just talking about money, this thing, that thing, another thing. Hip hop at its core. Now that's rap, don't get me wrong. And I appreciate that too, just like anything else, but true hip hop tells a story.
True hip hop tells a story, and both of them told an excellent story about where their mindset was during that piece on that song. Big Boy, his verse was perfectly fitted to how Big Boy lives his life.
Yeah, because he had a daughter. He had his daughter first, and he had to grow up, before everybody else did,
Right.
And then Dre was reminiscing, Dre just loves love. I'll put it that way.
Right.
I think that's the thing. That's his whole thing with everything. He loves love. You listen to his lyrics, and that's what it is. He loves people and he loves love, even though he's introverted, seriously introverted. But I mean, you never hear anybody say anything bad about himself, a young thug.
Well, you see where Thug at right now, so.
But it is what it is. But yeah, you got Mamacita. What was that? No, that's the next album. We'll talk about that one.
Yeah, but
Gangsta Boot.
The thing about Mamacita you know, Mama Sita told a very, very compelling story, you know, and talking about Dre and how these girls were being converted, I would say, into the lesbian side because you and your homegirl at your crib drinking and smoking, you know, and that's how you had to come at these girls because it was different back then. You know what I'm saying? So my thing was for them to pretty much show where they were at that point. That even when you got to the end, you know, snakes and rats, you know, that
talking
was,
fire, yeah, talking fire, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it was funny because when you listen to the skits in the beginning and the end, you know, the Pip Trick Gangster Click CD,
yeah,
you know, they were making fun of themselves, you know, what people were saying, but it was almost like, hey, say what you want to say, we're not changing for anybody, we still gonna do what we're gonna do. And by being individual, they changed the game. I mean, like I said, they had a cult following. I mean, right. Because it's even more evident on the next album.
Well, you know? Before we jump to the next album, I would say this here. Now, they didn't win Album of the Year for Aquemini. I think that's the one they should have won Album of the Year for.
But they got 5 mics on that one.
They got 5 mics, but they should have won Album of the Year at the Grammys for that. Now, they won the Grammy for Rosa Parks. But
that was 98, right?
That was 98. 2000, right? 2000 is when they won Album of the Year for Stankonia.
Yeah. Stankonia was a masterpiece, though. I mean,
no, don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Stankonia, again, there is nothing you can say wrong about any Outkast album if you are a true listener of hip hop. Stankonia is next level. I'm finna show y'all with beats, songs, and everything else. Y'all can't touch us.
And I think they did more of their own production on Stankonia. It was Stankonia or Aquemini.
Stankonia was when Dre pretty much took over a lot of production on Stankonia. And Dre did Bombs Over Baghdad. And
classic.
As we already know, you can't do nothing with that.
No. Sitting in the drop top soaking wet, in the silk suit, trying not to sweat, hit some sauce without the net. This will be the year we won't forget. I mean, hey.
Nah.
I'm telling you, man, that was. I mean, they were throwing haymakers on that one. I mean, I can't say one out rap the other on that one.
Every song on that album, they really did throw haymakers at each other because Bombs Over Baghdad, they went back and forth, and then Miss Jackson. I mean, come on, man, Miss Jackson.
Me and Your Daughter got a special thing going on.
Woo, whoa! I'm gonna tell you, when Miss Jackson came out, Miss Jackson, I was going through some stuff at that time. You know what I'm saying? I just be honest, I throw it out there. I was going through some stuff with my first baby mama at that time. You know what I'm saying? And it hit me because it was like, damn, y'all are telling the truth about what's actually going on, what I got going on in my life right now.
You can plan a pretty picnic, but you can't predict the weather.
Man, whoa, that to me, that is the greatest analogy ever spoken in a song. You can plan a pretty, man, come on, man. Who has the mind capacity to sit there and think of that? Because, you know, the whole thing is, we thought we was in love, you know, but your mama said, you know, oh, it ain't nothing but puppy love.
Puppy love, that's it.
Hope that you feel this way forever. You can paint a pretty picture,
but you can't predict weather.
Man, come on, man.
Yeah.
You know, that right there, you know, even though my situation was more like what Big Boy was going through, where, you know, everybody trying to take advantage of the situation and wouldn't tell me what's going on with the kids or whatever. But at the same time, it was like, you know what? It's one of them things where it's like, even when you try to do good, they don't want you to do good. You know what I'm saying? And you doing everything that you're supposed to do, and at the same time, you getting downtrodden, putting your name down when really it ain't got nothing to do with you.
That's it. It's a
You
battle.
know, so it was one of them things to me, like I say, it was one of those things where I felt it, you know, from the start, and it was like, okay, you know, but that whole album, you know, Toilet Tissue, you know, that was another one.
Yeah, they touched on a whole lot, man. I'm telling you, they touched on me. Red Velvet.
Oh,
I think one of the better ones is was it Humble Mumble.
yes,
I mean,
yes.
you know, you think about the way Dre broke down the business side. Well, not the business side. The way I guess people report, the way people look at rap. You know, they looked at it from a bad standpoint. He broke that thing down. But my favorite on that album, Stank Love, man. I love it. I love it, man. That was my song, man. I loved it.
Yeah, Stank Love was it. I think my favorite on that one was So Fresh and So Clean, man.
Yeah.
That was now that was a lyrical journey, you know what I'm saying? And they now that was some good banter back and forth between them two on that one, and it showed them being where they knew they was at the pinnacle at that point, you know what I'm saying?
But they could try stuff at that point. I mean, you know, they were at the point where, you know, they were free to do whatever they want to. And I think even if they tried to mess it up, I kind of liken them to Johnny Gill, where he was singing Boys to Men. He said he tried to mess that song up, but it wound up being a hit. Them fellas, they could try anything they wanted to. Everything they did was a hit. They couldn't go wrong during that time.
And I give again for Stankonia. Stankonia was the second hip hop album to be named Album of the Year. You know what I'm saying? So it was one of those things where it was like, okay, Lauren had did it the year before, and they followed it up. So they really at that point had put hip hop on the map.
Oh yeah.
And it was because of the diversity that each one of them came out with. It wasn't your traditional hip hop that was making this.
No, you but I mean, it's strategic. You had everybody on there. I mean, even from Killer Mike to Be Real to Gangsta Boo, to Erica singing on Humble Mumble. You had CeeLo on Slum Beautiful. You know, I mean, it was out there. I mean, it was good stuff. And the videos, man, just put everything over the top.
Oh yeah,
that was and then Bombs Over Baghdad. I mean, they just put everything over the top, man. So Fresh, So Clean.
The hairstyles. I mean, bruh. I mean, a lot of times, you know, when we were growing up, man, what you doing pressing your hair, bruh? But then when you looked at it, it was like, man, this kind of fly here, man. You know, but they the only ones that can do it.
Yeah. Well, I think Snoop did it on that was what California Love. Yeah. I would say when he got with two of America's Most Wanted. Yeah. I don't know if Outkast had done it before then. I can't get the timing right on.
Well, that was in '96 or whatever. But you know, you expected that from them. But see, the thing was with Dre and them, they had flair and style with theirs, and it was a little bit different. You know, it wasn't just press. You know, it was like, man, I'm gonna put some style with this here. I'm gonna make it look good. You know, and then it was like, okay, we see where y'all going with this here. You know,
you got to think about it too. That was a bold statement because during that time, early 2000, I want to say it was the jerseys and all that stuff. So they were doing something totally different, man.
Oh yeah,
what everybody else is doing. You had the oversized T-shirt. You know, T.I. was just coming out, Rubber Band Man. You had Ludacris on the scene at the time, BTP and all that stuff. So hip hop in the South was really taking off. I mean, it was pretty much, it was transitioning from New York to the South. It had been out over the West, East, you know, but the South was pretty much taking over. And, you know, for them to come out doing the things they did and still have the following that they had, man, it was just amazing. Well, and you follow that up with the Love Below and Speaker Box.
Well, before they did Love Below and Speaker Box, they throwed in this here just collection of songs, Big Boy and Dre Presents. You know? This was in 2001. And it was really our true introduction to Killer Mike at this point. And we realized, here go a nigga. Because Killer Mike is dynamic. This was before Adidas and everything else. Killer Mike came out with the whole world, you know. But my favorite off that is this symbolized Dre as a musician on this song. It made it realize that's where he came out with the opening act, and you know that's basically Dre playing the piano and everything on that showed where Dre was at his point. Dre had transcended. He was, I don't want to say he was, I'm gonna go on and say it. He had transcended into complete musician at that point. He was on the Prince, Michael Jackson type level. You already knew, you know, and we'll talk about this toward the end. This kind of solidified him at this point. You know, he's starting to become top 5 rappers of all time at this point. And it was just because of the lyrics that he threw and everything and how he came at it. So, you know, I was real impressed with them on that. You know, wasn't expecting it, but then, you know, they came back in 2002. Whew, Speaker Box, Love Below. Hit us hard from the start. Both of them. You know, all the rumors we had heard, oh man, they done broke up, they done did all this. Nah, man, they ain't broke up, man. They all right, man. They good. Come with a double album, and then come to find out, you know, really is their individuality that they wanted to showcase on this double album. And on this double album, bruh, it took us to another level. The Way You Move was the first video to come out for her, and The Way You Move changed a lot of things, bro. Changed a lot of things. It incorporated the dancing in with it and everything. But his sister-in-law is what really draws you in on that video, man. And it made you like, well, if this the sister-in-law, what the wife look like? You know?
Oh yeah. I mean, they both had very creative albums, because I mean, for the Tomb of the Boom, Reset, I think that was my favorite on Big Boy side. I mean, he had a couple of good ones. I mean, well, actually, it was good from front to back, but I love the Reset, because you had CeeLo on there and Cujo Gooding. They was just dropping gems on there, you know. And anytime you can get Jay-Z on your album, man, you're doing something, man, you know.
Of course, man. You know how that go. You know, when that real recognized real at that point. So that's the thing. He knew what was going on. He knew how it was going to be. But Dre, just how he changed pop culture with that song, man.
Roses too.
But I'm saying, just from, you know, when you get out there and you talk about all your Beyoncé's and Lucy Lou's, you know, I mean, man, you automatically put them at a position where they were at a point where it's like, okay, all right, pop culture reference. He out here playing, he the whole band by itself. This boy doing this thing. And then, you know, when he got the roses, there wasn't much you could say at that point, because you already knew, you know, again, he had put himself at top 5 in the rap game. And then, but I think what it also did was it showed the diversity that you could have in hip hop. Not only because of the fact it was rap, but at the same time, it was musicianship. And it was also, I think they set the tone for what was coming in the latter part of the 2000s, which was my number 1 and my number 2 MCs, which was Kendrick Lamar and Jermaine Cole.
Yeah. But I look at that Speaker Box, Love Below. I mean, Big Boy stayed true. You know, he's always rapping. He's always going to rap. That's what he does. He took some chances. Him and Sleepy, I think their chemistry started to flow on that. But the thing I like about Dre was, from front to back, Dre was being Dre. But at the end of that album, he let you know, I could still rap you under the table. A Life in the Day of Benjamin Andre.
All day, every day. Yes, he could. Yes, he could. But I think one of the things that also helped this album get to be where it was the out of the box production and the concepts that they was coming up with. because it wasn't a traditional rap album per se. You know, it was something that you had to sit there and you had to think about, you had to listen. And again, it was worth
it. Took a lot of people. I think it took a lot of people back to like their first album, Southern Player Listen, because I mean, the more I think about it, the more I recollect it, a lot of people said, it's like you said in the beginning too, you know, Southern Player Listen, it was great, but the more you listen to it, the more you understood, the more you appreciate it, the more you liked it. I've heard LL say that. I heard Black Thought say that. I've heard a couple other artists say that. You know, it's all right, but you know, the more you listen to it, the better it got. The better it got. So I'm thinking, you know, especially like with Drake, because when I first heard the speaker, the Love Below, I'm like, okay. Then I listened to it, like, okay, I can get with this. Listen to it again, man. This dude, he out there. But Dre has always been, and Big Boy too. They've always just loved music. I mean, you listen to them, I've caught a couple of interviews, they're always into the same type of music. They listen to everything. Country, rap, heavy metal, you know, they listen to anything. Well, you know, and that's where your creativity comes from. Well, you can't put yourself in a box. And I think that's a lot of what caused it to be so great. Same thing like with CeeLo. I mean, you don't limit yourself and then, you know, you grow from that.
Well, I think it's the same, and I hate to do it like this, but I'm gonna do it like this. It's the same chemistry that me and you got. We have the diversity and the open-mindedness to listen to a lot of different things and understand where they are and how they fit together in the whole bigger picture. And that's one of the things that has always made Cass what they is. You can't sit here and call yourself someone who loves music and you only listen to one genre. There's no way we can listen to one genre and understand the diversity that comes with music. If people would take the opportunity to listen to different genres of music, they will understand where you would be in a better place in this world, because music heals all things.
And it's universal. Yes. You know, everybody speaks a different language. When you put them notes on paper between those lines, man, it all looks the same.
It all looks the same. It's just all how you play it. You know what I'm saying? You know, you put me on, you know, getting off subject. I mean, you put me on John Mayer. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, you know, okay, I understand. All right, I see this. I see this. But you know, it's one of those things where, and this is how you can tell that music, when you are a true artist and you understand other people's stuff. One of the greatest interviews I ever heard was with Metallica, and they asked Lars and James who, if they had the opportunity to work with on a production standpoint, who they want to work with. Now you're talking about one of the greatest heavy metal bands of all time, if not the greatest heavy metal band of all time. And when Lars said, if I get the opportunity, I want to work with Dr. Dre, he had me sold right there, because he let me know right there, this man know music. And he know if Dre got hold of them, what could Dre do with them?
Oh yeah. Well, you think about like with Timberland, Nelly Furtado, who would have thought it? Timberland and Justin Timberlake, great chemistry. He started off with Missy and
Missy and Leah?
Not Mr. Missy Elliott and Player. Player. Static was from Louisville, but I think the other two were from Virginia Beach. And then you had Magoo, and then you know, he did some stuff with Aaliyah too. I mean, you think about the Genuines and all that stuff.
Yeah.
He was diverse, and I think you look at all the greats. I mean, Outkast, Organized Noise with their production. I mean, they produced TLC. They wrote a lot of stuff, you know, that a lot of people don't know about. But you know, it's just being in tune with music. That is what it is.
All right.
You know, so.
All right, so they deserve, because of the out of the box thinking and whatever. And like I said, they laid the groundwork for J. Cole and Kendrick because of that album. They got another Grammy for Album of the Year. And then this is one, I think, and I'll say this right now, I think this is one of the most slept on albums of all time, Idlewild.
Yeah, I would agree.
It is one of the most slept on albums of all time, and people don't understand it. This album is as good as Aquemini.
Yeah,
that's
I
how
think
good
it is. I don't know if it was advertised as such. I think it was more like a movie a movie or a soundtrack more
Well,
so than an album. So I think that's why it doesn't get the fanfare that others get, but true Outkast fans know, that was Outkast album. I mean,
it to me, when I first heard it, I think I told you, because I think I got it before you, and I told you, I said, "Whoa, this here is another Aquemini." I said, "These boys here on something else right now."
Oh yeah.
And I think because it was the movie wasn't as well received as, because it wasn't, a blockbuster or whatever. But if you actually look at it, this is a theatrical album, because everything fit for it. And when you get there, one of the best, my favorite is Morris Brown, you know what I'm saying? Because Big Boy is flowing on this. And it was one of those things where it's like, okay, where this came from, because you're thinking about how this fits, but even though it was at the end of the movie, then when you put it together with Rooster and what the one about the clocks,
chronometrophobia. Yeah.
Chronometrophobia, you're like, okay, everything fit at that point. I think if a lot more people sit down and listen to Idlewild, they'll get that same type feeling, because Idlewild is a fire album.
It is. My favorite on that was Neutron Angel. That was my favorite song. I love that one. I mean, even though they didn't Big Boy Dre didn't do anything, I just love that song. Whatever reason.
Well, now one of the things, we done went through the album, but the boys have been on several features over the years, and I must say they have dropped some fire. Probably the best fire they dropped together was probably Benz and Beamers. I put that high on the list. That was when we first saw, and this was Benz and Beamers was pre AT Aliens, so we got a chance to see a maturing Dre at this point, and you saw his flow change at that point. I think that's
one of the transition period.
Yeah, you saw that's one of the greats, and I'm gonna tell you one that don't get a lot of play is Neck of the Woods with Mystical. Yeah, I mean,
and In Due Time.
In Due Time, look, In Due Time is a gospel song with meaning and heart that only could have been done with the great CeeLo Green also adding his talent to it, because they showed out on that, man. Soul Food soundtrack wouldn't be what it is. Yeah, Soul Food soundtrack was one of the best soundtracks it was, but In Due Time was the song on that soundtrack.
Exactly.
And that let you knew where they was at that point, because you couldn't do nothing with them, after that. That again, this was again right before AT Aliens came out. So you saw the growth of these guys. We saw where they was going. We saw how they was doing. And then, after a little while, I mean, the great anthem for us, they got with UGK, International Players Anthem. And Bo, they had 4 MCs, probably 2 of the greats from Texas and the 2 of the greats from Georgia. That is a lyrical mixture that is so good, that you can't say nothing bad about it, say anything. Dre started it off, the video even made it even better, because I want to know why he dressed like Roddy Piper, you know what I'm saying? So that was the other part that made it so good. But even Big Boys finished it off on the end of that made it so good as well.
Yep, definitely.
And then, I'll just put it out here, the art of storytelling part 4. There's nothing can be said. That one by itself, if that one don't solidify Dre as the greatest rapper of his generation. Now I got him third on my all-time list. That's where I got it. Only because Kendrick and J. Cole are my 1 and 2.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to go. I'm not gonna do an all-time. I'm gonna do greats of the South.
Oh man, why you trying to be like that, man? Greatest of the South.
I gotta do it, man, because I think, you know, it would be. I don't think. I mean, you can compare it overall, but I mean, from the South, I mean, Dre hands down. But right behind Dre, I'm gonna have to put CeeLo, and I'm gonna put my top 5 in this order. I'm gonna put Dre, CeeLo, Big Boy. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a toss-up between T.I. and Ludacris, but right behind them, I'm gonna have to put my man Big Crit. And I say that because if Outkast had, I guess, a protege or anybody, you know, Dungeon Family had, I would say Crit would be an honorary Dungeon Family member, because when he first came out, it was all about the bass, the booming, and all that stuff. But as he progressed, you know, he always stayed underground. He stayed in his lane. Now, I would say he would probably be on the level of a Kendrick or a J. Cole, but he never really got that commercial success like they did. But the boy can rap. Boy rap his tail off. Right. And then you listen to his last album, Digital Roses. I mean, he pulled a CeeLo, or whatever, if you want to call it, Andre 3000, man. He was singing all about love. But I mean, you know, I say I put him up there because he does all his stuff on it. Well, he did all his stuff on his own. He's allowed other producers to come in. Him and J. Cole, I would say, would probably be the only 2 that I know of that could go in the studio by themselves and come out with an album, because they do produce, write, and all that on their own. But I mean, this comes from the South. Yeah, Dre's gonna be the top. I got him as my top overall, but I had to do it like from the South. And here again, I probably throw Bun B in there at some point too.
Oh yeah,
you know, because Crit is doing a lot of stuff for Bun B too, a lot of production, and to get to a point where Bun B trusts you and listen to you with the production and all that stuff like that, hey, that's saying a lot. But that's, you know, he just doesn't get the credit that he deserves. You know, because my man is a lyricist. He can come up with I guess with the booty shake, the Trump music, but you can also hit something like The Price of Fame or The Vent, or any one of those songs to let you know, man, he's on that level of thinking. But you know, I still just Dre he's up there. You know, with all the features that he's on. He kill everybody's song he get on. I mean, you know, that's without saying. You already know if you see Dre on it, hey, you know what it's about to be, especially like on Ben's Friends with our Future. You know, throw me one on the strength, then we might can talk till then I'll ride my bike or walk. You know, that's it. You know,
it's almost to the point where you're afraid to put Dre on your stuff, man, because he gonna outshine you on everything that he do. So it's like, I mean, now you got to be real secure in yourself to put him on your stuff, man, because you already know I can't out rap this fella, man.
They do it for the sales, man. They know to put Dre on it. It's going to get out there.
Right.
It's going to get out there.
You can't you know, everybody that has had him, you know, grace them with a little bit of stuff, man. It's just take your song to a whole different level, man. It's like, you know what? I don't even want, you know, sometimes you have to listen to Dre sometimes, and you have to say, I don't even want to rap no more after this, man.
Yeah. I mean, it was never more clear. I think 2 songs which really solidified it. I'm gonna say I Do with Jeezy and Jay-Z. Because Jeezy verse was nice, then Jay-Z came, but then Drake came out there and he killed it.
Yeah.
But then you also got to look at The Real Her, where Drake came out there and then Weezy came out there. And then, you know, to put your when Drake comes out there with all the analogies, man, you know, shower her with dollar tips, shorty went and bought a whip, you know, all that stuff. You know, I mean, that was by far, I mean, the best verse on Drake album. I can put it that way.
Right. Well, man, I'm gonna say, you know, just like this, I love them. I hope they get back together. I hope they do one more album. The kids are old enough now that I hope the kids get on the album with them, because I believe the kids are gonna be great.
Oh yeah.
7 ought to be, if 7 ain't the greatest rapper when it's all said and done, 7 don't want to rap, because there's no way your daddy and your mama created you, and that is like having.
I'm gonna say he'll probably be one of the greatest musicians or producers. I don't know about rapping or singing because I don't know which lane he's trying to be in, but musically, he got it.
Well, see, the thing
Whatever
about it
you
is he's a young brother that going to college. He's gonna do all of that before he even get into this here. So when he finally do get in this here, do you understand the level that this boy gonna be at? Because
or the pressure that he's gonna be under.
I don't think it'll be no pressure because I think people be lining up to help him. You know what I'm saying? Because
he's gonna have to bring it though.
He's gonna have to bring it, but I don't. He could really, if him and Bamboo get together, it's gonna be hard to stop him now.
That's true. That is true.
It's gonna be hard to stop him because
that is true.
Bamboo already showed us. I'm already ready. I just need to get on and get some time. You know what I'm saying? This ain't gonna be no JoJo Simmons type stuff. You know what I'm saying?
No, sir.
You know, this gonna be some Ice Cube Junior stuff.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna pick it back off what you said to put a bow on this thing. I'm gonna temper my expectations a little bit because I know Dre, he's probably at the end of his, you might see him on one or two more songs, that's gonna be it. I just hope that one of those songs that he decided to grace us with is with Big Boy. On one of Big Boy album.
I think they got one more album in them, bro.
Oh, they got one.
I think this gonna be it though. I think this is gonna be the last album. And because you didn't see them together out, and because they're going places together, I think the feeling is getting ready to happen. Mm-hmm. I think I think we're gonna get one more out of them, and I already know it's gonna be certified banger. So they ain't even a question.
If nothing else, they got some unreleased tracks that they may decide to release one day. If nothing else, so we got that to look forward to.
Oh, if they go back to stuff that they used to do, I mean, come on, man, they kill everybody that's out here right now. Trap music
did it. He had bootlegs and B-sides. You know, that was Ice Cube, bootleg and B-sides, the Lost Tapes. Nas did the Lost Tapes. But Q did bootleg and B-sides, but you know it's out there. So they might decide to do that one day.
But I think part of the problem is I think they know if they do it, they're gonna destroy all trap music is dead at that point. They know that. The industry knows it.
I think for the old heads, yeah, but for the new generation, I don't think they have that love and appreciation like we do of the true lyricism. Now some of the artists that's out, yes, but for the general public, I don't know that they now the South, yeah, but I mean the more I listen to these new artists come out, they don't really have an appreciation for that like they should. I mean, you know, so I don't know. We'll see.
We will see.
So any closing thoughts?
Well, hold on. Got to put it on pause for a minute. Hold on.